Hi, this is the setup video for how to set up the control box for the EZF powered clutch system. It's really very simple. When you get the control box, it won't have the lid on it. The lid comes packaged separately that you can put on either this direction or that direction depending on which side of the handlebar you want to put this on. It also comes with the mounting screws. So to make this installation very simple, I would recommend that you take and turn the wheel a little bit just to kind of get it centered. And then what you want to do is take this 832 screw out of the center. This will help free up the top part of the clutch cable clamp. Thread in the 1032 screw that comes in your kit. Lift it off, and now you have where the clutch cable will go in. For this particular box here, this is for a BMW, which requires a 10 by 1 threaded. This is the part that comes off the original clutch handle. And you want to thread that in here. And you can bring it in a little ways because this will be adjusted later like a normal clutch would be adjusted. Now what you want to do is thread the clutch cable through this hole until it comes inside. Once it's inside, then you're going to put on the brass collet that holds it in place. So you slide it over the cable, pull tight, and slide it down in there. And as you can see, it's down inside. You can see the clutch cable will move a little bit, but now we're going to add this top back on it. Remove the 1032 screw and put back the 832 screw. Get it snug, and then you can run the wheel back, not all the way back, but at least about there. And then once everything else is in place, then we can adjust this like you normally do any other clutch system. So along with your kit, you're going to get a power cable. Power cable is about 5 feet long, and this part is notched on the bottom. It goes right in here where the power hooks up, and then it's tightened up by this ring. And then when you uncoil this, the power cables should be run underneath the fuel tank back to the battery, and you can see there's a section of cable here that has this high temperature covering on it, so when you're running it down the frame, if you get anywhere near the motor with hot spots, it won't affect the cable. On this end here, it is set up with a relay system so that the unit itself is hooked directly to the battery with these two connectors right here, the positive and the negative. This blue wire gets attached to a circuit, for example like the ignition circuit, anything that switches positive. In other words, when you turn the switch on and you have a voltmeter on it, it should go to 12 volts. And you can tap into another wire with this quick clip here. You just put it over top of the wire, take some pliers, snap it, and then this goes right inside here. You can see the blade goes right inside there, and you should be all set. The relay itself can be mounted anywhere. It can be tie wrapped to something, just as long as it's not anywhere near like exhaust pipes or stuff like that. The next thing you'll want to hook up to the control box, the connector from the sensor box. This is my test handle, and you can see it operates with one finger. This is the connector that comes from that, and that just rotate it around until it slides on, push, and it's in. Once all this is hooked up, then you can add power to it, and this device will follow your hand movements here. Okay, so mounting the control box to your motorcycle can be any preference you want. Now the clutch cable goes in this side, so you typically want that pointing towards the fork of the motorcycles, so the clutch cable can come up and go right in there. Now whether you put it in front of the handlebars, on top of the handlebars with these mounting holes, or turn it around and put it on the left side, That's up to you, however you want to mount it. Now, if you want to take and mount this on the roll bars down below, typically those are 1.25 inches, and on the mounting bracket itself you can see that the two halves, that makes up 1.25 inches. But for this particular motorcycle, which is 22 millimeter handlebars, which is about 7/8 of an inch, we'll be using bushings. And let's pretend this is the handlebar here. Sits in there, goes on that side, the other half goes on, and then two number 10 socket head screws go in there to tighten that onto the handlebar. Now, mounting this to the frame of this is real simple. On this side, on the bottom, and on the other side, you can see the 3 holes. So this gets mounted like so. There's a flathead screw that goes in the center. You're also the wrenches are supplied in the kit, so you don't have to worry about trying to find an Allen wrench. The reason this one goes in the center and you want to kind of snug it but not tighten it down is because this is designed to rotate. So if you're putting it on the handlebars and you want this to sit at a certain angle, you can do that first. Once you get it in the spot you want, then you can snug it down a little more. And then there's 2 other screws that go on the outside, so that way it's mounted this direction, or you can have it rotated the other way if you want it pointed down a little bit. That's totally up to you. If you want to mount it on the bottom, take these 3 short screws out, mount it on the bottom, and then put these in the holes up here. And then once you get all that done, then you can put this other part together, and there you have it mounted to the handlebars. So after the unit is installed and the power's hooked up and the clutch handle's hooked up, I would recommend not powering it up until the clutch handle sensor box is actually installed. Now, an initial power up, every time you turn the ignition on, you will see a red LED down here come on. That indicates that there's power to the unit. The other thing is this device will slide forward and backwards as it's setting the board for its encoder.